Hi, Aries, and welcome to your April 2023 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about your month ahead. I hope you're all doing really well. Happy birthday to those of you aging up. We are in Aries season, and I'm very excited to be giving you guys a reading for your season, a happy birthday reading. And yeah, it's a great month to be reading for Aries because certainly we have a pretty major stellium, and especially the Jupiter-Chiron conjunction exact in your sign that was happening coming out of March and still certainly echoing through April, has a lot of connotation for you and for everyone. And it's pretty strange experiences, okay? Aries, I want to warn you guys that in your season this year, a lot of stuff is going to cleanse and purge out. There's going to be a lot of toxins maybe coming to the surface. Toxic people could be rearing their heads during this time in your life, and I do feel that you may be tested in regards to how much weight you allow a toxic person in your life to carry over you. So to what extent do you trust the words of a toxic person? To what extent do you take, for example, a very narcissistic or dark triad person's words seriously? I feel that Aries in the month of April is going to have to show to the universe that they aren't maybe as vulnerable as they used to be and really start to assert the new strength that you have grown and that you have now in your life. So your strength probably has to come through this month. I don't see it as a passive, lilting energy. I think that you have to some of you have to hit the block button. Some of you have to maybe unsubscribe from certain channels or certain doctrines as well, and start to place your faith in other places and other people. So something that I'm having a lot of people come to me about, and it's just to me very evocative of this Aries stellium this month, is people who they haven't talked to in a long time showing up and displaying themselves very differently. So seeing that a person transformed over time. Also stories of like transitioning from good to evil and having to watch somebody go through that is possible with this Jupiter-Chiron conjunction in Aries. You can see people who were once like really giving, really kind, really stand-up people suddenly becoming very corrupt, illegitimate, or hateful as well. This particular conjunction can cause an increase in hate speech, hatefulness, any type of like anger channeled in a very direct way with the Jupiter-Chiron conjunction could really expand. Now, in the positive sense, this can also help people to really grow their spiritual practice, really grow their shadow work journey, and really bring that into the light of day with the sign of Aries. But that may only be possible through observing another person's transition of energy. So what I mean is like through seeing another person being very hateful, you may become more kind and you may be prevented yourself in descending energies. I'm feeling that it's a very powerful time for the observation of another person's like difficulty and then basically becoming immune to that same type of problem. So it's a very good period of time for people who are smart and consistent like that, like people who can take note from others. But yeah, those of us who struggle more to do that may still have to go through certain difficult stories. Also, what I would do, Aries, is I would just start to get as like clear, easy, and almost stable as you can. I don't feel that it's a very good time for like a shooting star or a very good time for like really lavish displays of energy. I think as we have Saturn moving into the sign of Pisces, we have Pluto changing sign, your ruling planet of Mars changing sign. What I would do is I would kind of like do things that really make sense. And that sounds really obvious. I mean, when do we not want to do things that make sense? What I'm trying to say is I wouldn't do things that are really boisterous, really flamboyant, really crazy, really risky. Okay. I trust that you will have everything that you need to jump up the next level that you're trying to jump up, like taking your career to the next level, taking your life to the next level, wherever that's channeling, whichever sector that's coming through in your life. I think that it needs to come from the most stable, easy place, though. In your tarot cards, you have 3 sixes coming up. So you have the 6 of Wands, the 6 of Swords, and the 6 of Pentacles. So there's some type of major transition here. There's some type of new contract, a new lease, perhaps a move, and a procession out of something actually this month with the Two of Swords as well and the Ten of Swords, like leaving behind a really hard journey, leaving behind a cruel chapter of your life. And that might like be supported by seeing that somebody else is like cruel or like observing another person's cruelty, and it actually helps you to walk out of a cruel lifestyle or a cruel practice towards yourself. More prayer, more work on the aura is going to be important this month as you do get more energy and more power to ascend in certain places in your life, but that is very dependent on you knowing that you don't have the same, what do I want to call it? Like the same things holding you down or the same context maybe as you saw some of also these old people in your life, like these people who maybe haven't been in your life in a long time who might be connecting to you in very random ways. Okay? That is something that you need to like maybe block out after you learn the lesson. So what I mean is like, say you have somebody reach out to you over the smartphone or something, and you recognize somebody from a long time from your past, and it's like a strange experience, and these people have changed so much, and you're almost like uncomfortable with the level to which they've like descended into like a weird, strange energy. What you can do now is you can like either hit the block button and you can basically save yourself all of the pain and suffering that they've had to go through. So if you have like an ex reach out, okay, you can see how things have either gotten better or worse for them, and you can save yourself the headache of that particular story. So that's the good thing about the Jupiter-Chiron conjunction, is saving yourself the headache of someone else's story. So good for independent people who just don't have to give a you know what. So good this period of time is for the independent income, for the independent living, and also even if it's not like totally independent, to be in a state of merit, or to be in a state of, because merit is also a good independent grid as well, because there are things that like you don't have to rely on other people, like your own skill or your own capacity. Even if your merit is being channeled in a group situation, that's still better than being totally reliant on other people. Or favors, for example, not a good time for favors, not a good time to expect a solitary dime from another person, not a good time to have any kind of expectation over others. I feel that that can really fall through in April, and it's part of this APDM, all planets direct cycle that we are in right now, where it's trying to really, in some cases, throw some cold water onto a sleeping psyche and have it like wake up to the truth of the way things actually are now, so that a better response can be mobilized and so that a better life can be had. But in order to have that, it's going to take quite an action plan. So that's the other thing for you this month, Aries, is an action plan. I feel that you need one. Once you can come out the other side of some of these like perhaps difficult reintegrations with other people. So let's talk about your week to week. In the first week, you have the 10 of Pentacles rooted down by the 8 of Pentacles. Beautiful. The first week of April is not any of the aforementioned stuff. I feel that you have something that you're inheriting, so you could be totally free of financial worries now. You also have like a passion project that may require you to have a really good financial foundation. So I think that a lot of your projects or a lot of your goals are moving not necessarily outside of the financial realm, but they are not for money so much. Okay, they're more so for like a cause or for some type of greater spectrum of creation. And money usually follows those things as well. But I want you guys to maybe, like, regardless of where you're at in your own financial journey, I want you to start thinking about the cause and effect of things in your life aside from the money. So say you're subtracting the entire paycheck from your job. What is the cause and effect of it on your life? Say you're, contrarily, where would you be if money weren't an object? It's good to think about that stuff because you might see that that's actually possible, or that you can sort of appropriate your life in a way that could make it so. So yes, the first week is about understanding your foundation and also understanding what you want to produce in your life, what passion projects you want, what you want to be creating. Week number 2, you have the Six of Wands rooted down by the Six of Swords. Okay, a big change, a big move, perhaps. You are, it's not going to be easy for some of you. Don't let this freak you out, but like, maybe it shouldn't have been. Okay, maybe we're wanting some things to be easy that for them to be easy would actually be a spectrum of negativity for us. So what I mean by that is like wanting not to have the hangover after drinking. Okay, it's not possible. And if it were, a lot more people would die of alcohol poisoning. Okay, so it's kind of things like that. Like, we might not want to have that hangover, but if we didn't, it could be a bigger threat to us in the long run, because then we would have no understanding of limitations. So if you have anything weird happening in your life, people reaching out, if you have any weird illness or any discomfort in any way, shape, or form, try to see that as a benefit of limitation or a benefit of life knowledge as well, so that you don't make the same mistake twice, or so that you have motivation. This is very Chiron, Jupiter, being motivated by a bad situation, or being motivated to overcome something like this. Okay, being motivated to get healthier, to get mentally healthier, to get more organized, to get more stable, so that you don't have to be beholden to some of these situations. But yeah, I definitely see movement. Okay, so moving country for some of you, but yes, just moving trucks, moving vans, processions, being on boats, or being in some type of transport is likely in the second week, and it's like a kind of large travel or trip of some kind. Week number 3, the Two of Swords rooted down by the Hanged Man. Okay, they're similar archetypes. There's something that's reflective. There's something that as you're coming to the end of your season, it's like kind of beginning to see the value of being such an optimist as well. Like, maybe you had a lot of confidence in somebody. Maybe you've hired somebody. Maybe you have had a friendship where you really believed in someone and it totally like dissolved, or somebody like went really crazy, or like you hired like this. I'm not saying this has happened for anybody, but it's almost like hiring an employee that then like steals from you, or like dating someone that you understand has like a lengthy criminal record and they've not like mentioned anything like this. There's something that can come up here where it's like, I was so optimistic in that person, or I couldn't detect. That's more what it is. It's more like I couldn't detect that person had been in jail, or I couldn't detect that person had like defrauded like 3 other businesses, and I didn't even do a background check because the first impression was so good. There's stuff like that coming up during this time, not just for you guys. I don't want it to freak you out, but we maybe need to know who we're doing business with, and we also need to okay, because what's happening is this is a lot of psychic download, Aries. Wow. The higher collective consciousness is like reassessing the cesspool, basically. So any forms of like corruption, theft, disease, that lower dimensional, 2-dimensional stuff is being reassessed right now by the collective. So it's becoming more like accessible. So it's actually a great time for celibacy. It's a great time for, not really having to hire anymore, or to know who you trust already, while we go through probably at least a year of reconciling the current spectrums of grief. Okay, I think as Pluto is retrograding on this cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius, there's a lot of filtering and turnover, and a lot coming to the light as well. So basically, I wouldn't make any like emergency actions. I wouldn't, unless you have to, I wouldn't get desperate with things at all. I wouldn't be like, I've just got to like hire these people and I don't even know them, or I've got to get in this relationship even though I don't know them, or I've got to move in with these people even though I don't know them. The Six of Swords can be about moving in with people too soon. So for those of you who are considering moving in with a significant other, or someone especially that you've just been like dating for a few weeks or something, I would maybe wait on that, or I would give it more time. Anything that you can give more time is good. Week number 3, the Ten of Swords rooted down by the Six of Pentacles, and there is some type of climactic event there. And we really have to start being able to recognize more clearly the signs. Okay, so we've got to become maybe better detectives, or we've got to become better intuitives, or better clairvoyance in some cases, because I do think that maybe the way that like crime, or the way that also darkness, not just darkness, but the way that evil even is like coming through during this time is not as obvious as it used to be. So things can be very deceptive, and I wouldn't even call it deceptive. It's almost more like just the face of evil is changing. Okay. So that which we currently associate with like bad, okay, is changing. So all that like Hollywood narrative about like what is a good or a bad person is going to deteriorate. And I feel that you Aries have like one of the front row experiences of this with the Jupiter Chiron conjunction happening right now. And I think that what happens is you actually get to define for us all a little bit like what is acceptable and not acceptable. And I understand that that's like a very powerful thing and can also come with a lot of like mistakes. But it's just something to think about as food for thought in your own life. Like, okay, this person who shoplifted is in jail, but then this person who like, I don't know, got a huge payout of money from like a bank crash isn't. The shoplifter is evil and the banker is like good. You know, these types of like, this is very Saturn and Pisces, right? Where we start to think, wow, the shoplifter stole like $7 worth of goods, but then this like banking person stole like multi millions of dollars worth of like value during like a crisis, and like basically like profited through a crisis. Yet one is free and one isn't, and one is considered certain ways. This is like kind of like deeper. And I'm not making a judgment about that stuff, but what I'm saying is like, I think that it's maybe like a microcosm or an example for how things are and how like perception can really be questioned also during this time. So if anybody like Ten of Swords, you have it coming up, you're going to have some kind of ending. Okay. You're going to have like maybe a relationship that ends for some of you, or a end of suffering as well, an end of a difficult situation. That's more so how I like to interpret Ten of Swords. It's like something that was really bad gets to end. Okay. But sometimes when things get really bad like that, we lose a frame of reference, or we lose a certain perspective, and we start to think it's good. So try to understand that anything ending or anything over is going to help you in the long term there. And with the Six of Pentacles, there's like a new lease, or there's a new lease on life coming in for you, which is very positive. Okay, very positive. And I want to talk more about that in your extended reading on Patreon, which I will link below. We'll talk about a new lease on life, and we'll talk about healing and growing, get some more positive messages. And be sure to check out your Sun, Moon, Rising sign, Aries. I know that this reading was a little bit heavy, but it's like positive because it's like understanding more. Even though some of what we're understanding is not easy, it's not like good to have had some of these things feel good right now. Okay, if you get what I mean. It's not maybe good to have a good feeling and a response to someone being hateful towards us. So anyway, that extended reading is going to be linked below. I hope you all have a great month, and it's been a nice late night reading with Sky. Subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and come check out the extended linked below. Much love, Aries. Happy birthday. Bye.